We are the most engaged team at Vela Company. We always, every year, we have the highest score when it comes to engagement, and our team is very diverse. I would say diversity is number one. What you have to have in your team is the diversity of thoughts, diversity of cultures, diversity of genders. You have to be diverse in order to be able to grow.
Hi all, good morning and happy Monday. So today I have Mina with us, who is an experienced vice president leading e-commerce, omnichannel, and digital marketing strategy at Wella Company. She's all very passionate about driving growth, sustainability, and digital transformation in the beauty industry. She's one of the founding members of Chief, a network for women in senior leadership roles. Let's welcome Mina on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom, where she will tell us what's it like leading e-commerce, what she's learned along the way, and what was it like getting certified in digital transformation from MIT itself. Hi, Minna. How are you doing?
I'm good, Manal. Thank you for having me today.
Of course. So, Minna, let's get into it. You have such a long history in e-commerce and digital marketing strategy. Can you share a notable success story from your role as vice president of e-commerce at Bola Company, where you significantly contributed to driving growth or implementing a successful digital strategy?
So I would say yes, absolutely. I'm gonna share here the story of my life. I'm very pleased to have a great team behind me. So I would say one of the strengths we have at Vela Company is the great team we built over the time. So no leader can do anything alone. You have to have a team, and you have to have a strong team behind you to rally behind you in order to succeed in anything. So I joined Bella Company in that time, Coty, in 2017. I was the first person arrived and built the e-commerce team from ground up. Today we are very excited to announce we are one of the most growing channel in the industry, and especially in Vela Company. We built this business from scratch. This business didn't exist, so as you can assume, we had a lot of ups and downs. We had a lot of thin and thicks, and I am very pleased to say I had a great team to be behind me and work together in order to get where we are. We have a portfolio of brands at Vela Company. We own OPI, we own GHD, we have Briogeo as our sister umbrella, and we have Vela Color, which is our core, the core of our brands, and it's the backbone of all of our brands.
That is amazing. I want to touch on something. So, you mentioned you were one of the first people that joined and you built out your e commerce team. Can you tell us what it was like building a team from scratch? Because there's so many different components to making a successful team. How did you pick out those people? How did you know you needed to look for certain characteristics, certain skills, and how did you make that successful team?
I would say we are the most engaged team at Bella Company. We always, every year, we had the highest score when it comes to engagement, and our team is very diverse. I would say diversity is number one. What you have to have in your team is the diversity of thoughts, diversity of cultures, diversity of genders. You have to be diverse in order to be able to grow. And our organization inside the e-commerce is very flat, so we don't have really hierarchical conversations. Everybody at the table has the same voice and the same strength to share their ideas. There is no idea it's called bad idea. Every idea is a good idea. Some ideas are more successful versus others, and being honest, we experience many different diverse things in our team. So we have ideas which in day one, when it's shared, it doesn't show, or it doesn't feel as big. But when you start testing and learning it, you understand, oh my god, it has opportunity to scale, and you scale it, and it turns to be one of the best ideas. So always be open to hear every idea, and be a good listener. It's really important to be a good listener, because we all oftenly, as the leaders, have something in our mind we want to share. We have our own ideas, we have our own experience. But being an active listener and put that thought process aside and just listen to everybody else's idea, it's the key to success.
I mean, all these characteristics showcase how good of a leader you are because it makes sense that no idea is weak. Essentially, when you test out an idea, realize that there could be room for improvement or there could be something that you could add. And then you scale it and then you test it out. And if it works out to be one of the best things ever. And listening to your team members, making sure your team is diverse, essentially is what makes a successful team. So kudos to you for recognizing that and building a team based on these components. So thank you so much for sharing them, Minna. Minna, my next question for you would be centered around digital transformation and change management. So one of the things about digital transformation and change management is to keep up to date with what's going on in the market. How do you keep up to date with the recent trends? So how do you make sure that you are navigating and managing change effectively, especially in such a dynamic landscape of e-commerce and digital marketing?
So I would say actually it's a very interesting question. Thank you for asking this
Great.
question. A lot of companies like our company or other companies, and I bet everybody worked at the company at some point at the time, which they're having a lot of like long history, and they were built on a completely different downstream systems. So I would say when it comes to the digital transformation, you have to be open and you have to start small. You cannot go to any company, especially when the company has a really strong backbone, like our company with 140 years old of history, and change everything very quickly. So you have to pick your battles. Look at your opportunities, prioritize them, see where you can start and what are the low hanging fruits versus the ones they need a lot of like change in processes, people, culture, and everything else. First, address the low hanging fruits in order to be able to scale. And as you go, you can address the ones they need more time or they need more kind of engagements and more investment. So I would say like one of the things we experienced when I joined and I started like building the team ground up is like our downstream systems are not built to manage and help a digital. So we couldn't change all of the sudden everything downstream system. So we had to start the business, we had to start making money, we had to start being profitable in order to be able to leverage that profitability and invest back into our business and start like changing some of the changes we wanted to make. Are we 100% there? Probably not, but it's a work in progress. So it's always work in progress, and you cannot be perfect, because if you want to make everything perfect, it's not going to happen, especially if you're part of a big organization, which it needs a lot of changes into their downstream systems in order to adapt into the new world and the modern world of the digital.
I think that's very inspiring because a lot of people like to do everything at once, where they're like, this is something that came up, this is something that came out, we should do all of this. And then they're like, I spread myself too thin. Where do I go from here? So I like the fact that you mentioned that address the low hanging fruits first and then move on to something that could potentially be something new, but do what you can do with what you already have and scale the company and then move on to something that could be potentially even bigger. So thank you so much for sharing that, Minna. Mina, my next question for you would be is what are some of the challenges that you face in aligning traditional trade marketing with the digital landscape and how do you overcome them?
So a lot of changes happen over the time in the trade marketing, because if you look at the old like traditional way of doing trade marketing, it was no online presence, it was no price, I would say, adjustment. It wasn't like anybody would compete on the pricing and the product. But nowadays with digital, everybody has access to multiple platforms at the same time. In the old days, if you would go to Walmart, if you would go to any wholesale, you were in that store and that store was anything like the only thing you had at that moment. But nowadays you are in a Walmart store, you're in a Target store, but you have your phone. At the same time, you just can scan the barcode and see the pricing of the same products in multiple platforms. You are in one place, but you have access to hundreds of places. So it's a change in management, it's a change of the customer experience. So what is important now, it's the experience for the customer. The customer doesn't want to be in one place and look at the online business and see, like I would say, same product somewhere else much cheaper, right? The customer what doesn't want to be in the store and scan a product and see bad reviews for that product. So trade marketing changed from being channel by channel focused to be omni channel. And look at the omni channel, look at the umbrella of the brands of the portfolio in the same company, and make sure you have kind of price mapping across the board. You can manage your promotion, you can manage your products. Is it like all of your products have to be in every place, or the SKUs, different SKUs have to be presented in different places at the different times? So omni-channel world, it came into the picture and changed everything, changed shopper marketing, changed trade marketing, changed a lot in marketing, and created e-commerce as one of the channels under the omni-channel.
That is, I think, very interesting because the journey towards being just trade marketing is much more revolved around being customer centric because you really take into mind the customer who has to see different products on different platforms. And keeping the customer at mind is essentially what distinguishes businesses from other businesses because you know how the customer would want a product to be presented, what pricing would you present to the customer in order to attract them in the best way possible. So, thank you for sharing that. My next question would be is can you share an example of how you've embraced innovation to stay ahead of the competition, Mina? To stay ahead of the competition,
Yes,
Mina?
I can. Like, for example, when we started our journey on the e-commerce, if you look at the professional beauty is one of the I would say channels which they were a little behind when it comes to digital and digital transformations and digital tools. And what we had done, we created beautiful portfolio of the brand's e-commerce, which is our B2B side of our business, and it called Vela Store. We have everything like portfolio of our brands for professionals, and you have to have cosmetology license in order to access that platform, to purchase from that platform. So basically what we had done, we put the customer in the center of everything we had done. Customer is the heart of our business, and our customers are hair professionals, or the professionals are working on the hair salons. So we put them as the core, as a heartbeat to our machine. And I oftenly tell my team, like, e-commerce is just a platform, it's just a machine. Your customer is the heart to that platform, and you always have to center everything around that center, which is your customer and customer experience. So we started looking at our customers and see what are their needs, being staying close to them. Even when you go, like in my case, when you go very casually to your hair salon, to your nail salon, because we have OPI, which is a beautiful brand as part of our portfolio as well. Talk to these professionals, ask them what are the things they would like to have access to. They are your customers, they are the best people to help you to organize your business around them, and create everything based on their needs. And that's how you create the loyalty around your customers. That's how you create the experience your customers are looking for.
I mean, thank you for sharing such a specific example. And you touched on customer lifetime value, which is something which is built around loyalty, which is if you create such a good experience around that, customers will keep coming back and you will gain someone who will be your fan essentially for the rest of your life, which brings more revenue for the business. So thank you for sharing that. Last question, Minna. You are a leader who has built such successful teams, diverse teams who are paving their way towards success. What are some of the qualities that you look for in talent when you are recruiting for your
Culture
own
and
team?
value. I think the business is something, I truly believe the business is something you can teach, but culture and value is something you can't teach. So when you are choosing people for your team, make sure you're picking the people with the right culture and the right attitude. One of the things is very important for me and for my team as part of being one big group is to help each other, like creating capabilities for each other, because each individual of us is coming to the picture with a different set of experiences. Like, and we have to be open, and we have to have that mindset to not look at each other as competition or competitors, and look at each other as one team, and help each other to grow, help each other to build a business together, and create capabilities and teach each other like different capabilities, which not necessarily is the center of competency for that person. So I would say right culture and a right value is important for our business and for our team.
I love that because I think a lot of people place emphasis on the hard skills, but they don't realize that okay, the hard skills can be taught, but essentially the attitude that they bring to the team will affect the whole team dynamic, and it might be hard to work with those people. So thank you so much for sharing that, Minna. But other than Minna, our time is up. As you know, we like to keep things short. Thank you so much for coming on the show, for sharing your wonderful experiences as a leader, what it takes to build successful teams, but more importantly, your open mindedness towards innovation and change, making sure that you're always paving your way towards a better e commerce experience for all your
Thank you so
customers.
much. Thank you.